One of my favorite places to go for writing inspiration is the woods near my house. It is so peaceful here among the towering trees. My dog Roy likes it too. We came to these woods a few times as I was writing this month's Scope nonfiction article, The Blood Red Night. The story is about the Great Peshtigo Fire of 1871, the deadliest fire in American history. The Great Peshtigo Fire struck in the northern woods of Wisconsin, killing as many as 2,500 people and destroying more than 1 billion trees. Incredibly, the fire happened on the very same night as the Great Chicago Fire, October 8, 1871. Nearly 150 years later, the Chicago Fire is considered an important part of American history, and yet the far deadlier Peshtigo Fire is largely unknown. I wanted to help change that by writing this article for Scope. I decided that my article should be a work of narrative nonfiction. Narrative nonfiction is factual, based on research. But a narrative nonfiction story does more than just deliver information. The goal is to turn the information into an exciting story, a story that has suspense, vivid descriptions, and characters that you care about. I actually find narrative nonfiction far more challenging to write than other types of nonfiction, like essays and informational texts. For my Peshtigo article, my goal was to pull my readers back in time, to make them feel that they were eyewitnesses to this historic event. This would require intensive research so that I could recreate the world of northern Wisconsin and the terrifying events on the night of the fire. Luckily, I had a partner in my research journey, and no, it was not my dog Roy. It is my amazing colleague, Allison Friedman. Allison got me started with a thick packet of research that included facts about the fire. She also found 2 key books about Peshtigo, published by the Wisconsin Historical Society. I combed through a website dedicated to survivors of the Peshtigo Fire. There, I found an article written in 1946 about the experience of John Kramer and his family. John was 7 when the fire struck, and the family's experience was truly unbelievable. I decided that John would be the star of my story. I found the biggest challenge was trying to imagine what Wisconsin looked like in 1871. And so I turned to an expert, Dr. David Mladenoff, professor in the Department of Forest and Wildlife Ecology at the University of Wisconsin. Dr. Mladenoff has spent decades of his life studying the history of Wisconsin's forests. He helped me understand how enormous these forests were, that there were billions and billions of trees stretching for thousands of square miles. He also told me about an incredible primary source document about the forest, notebooks created by the first American men to fully explore these forests right after Wisconsin became a state in 1848. These notebooks enabled Dr. Mladenoff and his team to create a map showing the kinds of trees that grew there. There is no forest of this size on Earth today, but there are smaller versions in Minnesota and southern Canada. Photographs of these forests gave me the clear picture that I needed to start writing my story. I found myself returning again and again to the woods near my house. This is where I mapped out my story. Of course, this little wooded patch of Connecticut is nothing like the vast woods where John and his family lived. But sitting here, I was able to travel back in my imagination to that terrifying night of the Peshtigo Fire. The experience of writing about such a devastating event was a difficult one for me, to think about all the people who died, who suffered, the loss of so much wildlife. But it was worthwhile to me to bring John's story to life, to honor the memory of those who lost their lives, and to make sure that this incredible event is no longer forgotten. I hope you enjoy my article in this month's issue of Scope magazine.